The topics we discuss are many.
No story too bold to talk about.
Strictly our own opinions.
But they are opinions from people like you.
Welcome to the NAKE'd podcast.
Hi, everybody. Hopefully, we don't get banned on any channels for having this discussion. It's me, Ethan.
Of my shirt. Say what again, motherfucker? It's your girl, NJ.
What's with all the
I'm a copycat.
motherfuckers? I just want to talk about how great penguin duct tape is.
Oh, cute.
Hey guys, it's Keelan.
I can say, NJ, when I saw your shirt, that was not the quote that came to mind.
Which quote was it?
I can't say it on air.
You know, copyrights and whatnot.
Yeah, let's go with that.
If you want to hear us say it not on air, but not quite on air, join us for Millennials Undressed, which is our Patreon special. Plug.
JW in the house. Welcome.
What's up, JW?
Hype, gang.
Hell yeah. We're lurking on our own stream. Hey. Well,
So, speaking of great things, every year we know that Time Magazine always puts out Person of the Year. And this year they have decided to put Biden and Harris on the cover, naming them the People of the Year. NJ noticed a trend. She looked this up, that it's usually the president-elect that will go on there following the election. Right, NJ? What did you find?
So in 2016, Trump was on the cover of Time's Person of the Year. In 2012, Obama was. In 2008, Obama was. In 2004, it was Bush. In 2000, it was Bush. And that's as far as I went back. You got 3 presidents out of me.
So while that pattern, seems normal, okay, cool, we got the president-elect on there, I honestly don't agree with that. Not because, presidency aside, whatever, but because did Biden or Harris really help us at all this year? I think for 2020, the People of the Year should have been healthcare workers, frontline workers, people who kept us running through this pandemic this year. And I'm just, that's what I'm upset about. You could have really acknowledged the people who have put their heart back into this country. And it went to the president-elect.
I
was going to say, just to tie it into another thing that happened along those lines, Game of the Year. Last of Us 2 won Game of the Year, even though the fan vote was for Ghost of Tsushima. I can't say it.
Tsushima.
Ghost of Tsushima. Just like it seems like all the awards are just, you just buy them now. It's not like an actual award anymore.
Sorry, guys. I'm having some.
I think really. Oh my god.
Go for it, Norma.
I think really historic that we have a female vice president. Kamala Harris is the first female vice president, and that sets a precedent, And I think that while that has weight,
first female president too.
Female. Who is?
Hold on, we're a little glitchy at the moment. I don't know why. I'm lagging behind.
You are?
He's saying she'll also be first president, first female.
Female president, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's another
the future is never promised, but who knows? Maybe potentially. But going to my point further, I understand where time was going with it, but at the same time, you're right, Keelan. I mean, who was helping keeping this country running? We have our frontline workers, healthcare. You have people like in Ethan's field that are necessary to keeping us running. So I feel like an opportunity was missed for sure on Time's part, especially spreading awareness about being safe and being cautious and taking care of yourself. So I definitely do think it was a missed opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that too. I mean, come on, like there's so many people have like risked their lives. Hell, I know like one person who's a doctor who's taken extreme measures to protect his girlfriend, and like he's barely seen her. I think they should have been. I agree with you. They should have been.
Yeah,
people of
there have
the year.
been families who have been trying to be responsible, especially the healthcare workers when they have to go back to their families. They're being separated. They're quarantined from them to make sure that they can protect them at every cost that they have. And are you talking, JW? He said, what they done is set a precedent that they can't get out of. It's a weird precedent. Is that the precedent referring to putting the president-elect on the cover? Because if so, I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But like you said, I don't, even going through everything we went through this year, the current president-elect wasn't really like, he really didn't do anything to help any situations or develop any plans. Like, he always said, "You'll get the plan when I'm elected," or it's like Guy Fieri has raised by himself over $20 million for the restaurant industry. Why does he get no recognition for it?
Yeah.
I mean, the best
You're right.
thing that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris did was they did fundraise, but the causes they fundraise were more kind of put the money into private organizations, not back into the communities or to the people that need it at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, we saw a bunch of other people try to help, such as Guy Fieri. I mean, we even had an episode about it. Yeah, I mean, they could have done not just frontline workers, but the faces of 2020, right? The people who were there. I would read the hell out of that.
No, JW, we're not totally up with everything going on over there. We just kind of know the basics, and they don't really tell us much after Brexit. They usually just, our news is mainly bad things that's happening around us.
Pretty much. But I did see that he was knighted.
He's not wrong.
That's pretty awesome.
To this, like, are people feeling the same way, or is nobody really saying anything about it?
It's just kind of like, because I've seen a few comments about people, they haven't really been paying attention to person time of the year. I mean, after 2008, it just went downhill for me. And that's just because in 2008, Time Magazine did nominate everyone in the world as person.
So you're saying this is Joe Biden's second time on that front?
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of people, okay, so like Tom Moore and Guy Fieri, that they've actually done a lot for the people right now. And why is there no recognition to like the good stuff? Or hell, Mr. Beast. He planted what, 20 million trees?
Yeah.
I mean, I think last year, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Greta Thunberg on the cover last year, right?
Yep, it was.
It was.
And Mr. Beast has done 20 million more things for the environment than she has. I mean, have you seen her plant one tree?
Send this video.
Nobody's seen her sail across. Whole episode about Greta Thunberg.
Yeah. But no,
Have
I
y'all watched
mean,
her
like,
documentary on Hulu?
nah.
Mm-mm.
I think I'm going to. I want to see. But I don't know. I would have liked that award to go to, Guy Fieri, Captain Tom Moore, somebody that we saw work through the challenges of this year and really put forth something amazing for, not just America, but I mean even the world, because it's person of the year. It doesn't say that person has to come from America. Did anybody do anything that really helped everybody globally or even in their part of the world?
I
And
mean,
while yes,
Starlink.
Biden, huh?
Oh, sorry, just Starlink. That's something that's helping the entire world, bringing internet to communities that had no possible other way.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And while Biden and Harris, they have a lot of promises to deliver for us. I think we're going to see those, up in 2021, and then they could have been, person of the year in 2021. Why did it have to be this year? Why couldn't we have put forth somebody who did something? Does that make sense? I'm not trying to start political debates or anything, but
No,
you're
perfectly correct.
I get that.
I agree. Yeah. You're right. I mean, even Ethan's Guy Fieri, comment, yeah, he did something. He made a difference. And I think that when we look at politicians or we look at even celebrities, what are they really doing for the culture? What are they doing for society? What are they doing to better the world? And it's the type of people to look up to. Guy Fieri gets so much shit,
Yeah.
but he's a
For Flavor
good
Town.
fucking person.
I mean, hell, you had
It doesn't matter what he looks like.
yeah, you had the Disney higher ups, but the lower ups, the partners, all come together and hey OG, all come together and
Hey,
open up
Beards.
the food kitchen. I mean, heck, like they said at one of the Disney parks, there was a 7-mile long line to get food at the food kitchen because that's how much they're helping take care of people.
Wow.
It's crazy. I had no idea about that.
Yeah.
I think it's
They were bashing Disney, but
you
on
look
the
at
positive note, they're helping each other out.
Yeah. I remember seeing posts on Reddit about that, and people were taking pictures of the 7-mile long line. It was pretty good, and even then, it's not even just big corporations that are helping out. I saw a post recently about people were gonna get married. Instead of spending $15,000 on their wedding, they decided to make $15,000 worth of food and give it out in New York, and other couples have been doing that across the world. I think there was even an Indian family in California. Can't recall, and I give y'all fake facts. But
it's great. I think I had posted this picture on Twitter yesterday or today, I can't remember, but it's basically if you could give one trait to the humans as a whole, what trait would you give them? And some people on my Twitter, like Beards, had said empathy. Empathy goes a long way, and I think that could lead to forgiveness, that could lead to compassion, and people have empathy. Guy Fieri, restaurant industry, he didn't want to see people in his industry suffer, so he made a difference. You need to recognize these people more than that. Celebrities, politicians.
You know why I
need to do better.
I bring up Guy Fieri and I try to hype him up because he didn't do it for the celebrity. He didn't do it to make anything for himself. He did it for the people. Like you get a lot of the celebrities. Like personally, I think Brie Larson, all her political grandstanding and her activism is all faux, and it's just to get publicity for herself. And
It's a fair call out.
Whereas you had
I
Britney
haven't seen any
Spears.
results where Guy Fieri just donated 20 million. You know what I mean?
And then you had Britney Spears, who was reaching out to her fans. Hey, how can I help? She was buying groceries. She was sending out positive messages.
She paid like people's bills too, right?
I believe so, yeah.
That's what you were saying, yeah.
I think Cardi B did the same thing actually.
Really?
Like cash app people like $2,000.
That's awesome to hear.
I don't know if I would accept it from Cardi B. I just like this is wet ass money.
God damn it. At least it's better than what the Kardashians are doing. I mean, what did Kim Kardashian do like between the summer and Thanksgiving? Have all of her friends and family quarantine for 14 days and invite them over to
for a sense of normalcy.
Yeah. How removed are you from society to think that that's...
I don't know. I mean, we're facing a lot of normalcy changing a lot, and one of them being the on January 6th in particular is a very important date for the U.S. Because the electoral votes will be cast, and we have a lot more things going on. So, Ethan, tell us about that.
So, not to get too hardcore into the political beliefs on each side, but currently we've had a disputed election since November 3rd when the votes were cast, and there's still present day lawsuits and other items going through the courts. In some of the states here did send up dueling electors, which means the House of Representatives of that state sent their own Republican electors and the governor sent their Democrat electors. So some of the lawsuits and the processes that are going through the courts right now will set the precedent because, like, we're from Texas. So Texas did file a big lawsuit against the 4 other states, claiming that they didn't follow what the Constitution says. They kind of went along with their own rules. So, but the reason why, and the Supreme Court here actually threw it out, they didn't want to hear it. Well, they said Texas didn't have grounds to file the lawsuit because they weren't the injured party at the moment. But the lawsuit has been refiled with the stated injured party. So we'll see what happens with that. And then, so there's a lot of balls up in the air. For the most part, it does look like Joe Biden is our president-elect. It's like there's a off chance that one of the courts rules and says, hey, you have to honor the electors sent from the legislative branch of the government, not the executive of the state government. And if that happens, it could go to a contingent election, which means our House of Representatives would be voting. So it's just a kind of a clusterfuck. And I know we
were
all
talking about it earlier.
Yeah, we talked about it a little earlier. And just a little, a lot of people, they look at our government and they think, hey, it's a democracy. Well, it's actually a constitutional republic. So in theory, the way we were originally supposed to vote back in the 1700s, where we vote for legislators of our state and they vote for the president. Well, they used to vote for senators and president, but we decided that the people would vote for senators. And then some of the states here have the legislation appoint. They listen to the popular vote of the people, but they still make the final choice. Where other states are trying to just say the people have the final choice. So it's all kind of up in the air and nobody wants to make a move because it's like a chess match, you know? If you move this piece here, you file this lawsuit here, you do this here, you might get checkmate. So it's all on how you can outmaneuver your opponent.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. We all kind of described it as a wild fucking ride. I mean, what a time to live in as millennials, number one. I mean, we've gone through a lot of different things, the housing crisis, 9/11. I mean, just so much swine flu, avian flu, now COVID. We're in a mass pandemic. So, it's kind of like first time chums. Yeah, first time.
So JW is asking the hard questions already. Let's start with Keelan. Keelan, what do you think of the electoral system?
I'll be honest. I went to school at a place that really did not educate us enough on the electoral system. So as far as the system itself goes, I don't really know where to throw my opinion into the hat there. But I will say, as far as voting for the president, I think it should be a popular vote. The people are voting for who they want as president. And then I understand, that goes to the electoral college, and then they take the representatives from the different counties and then who voted more on one side than the other, and they cast their votes that way. But I mean, for me, it should be a popular vote. The people should be able to choose who their president is. Does that sound right? Educated enough?
I mean, that's yeah. I mean, you're at the gist. That's your opinion. There's nothing wrong with it. So one of the major things, and I've had time to phrase things properly, that our system was set up by landowners, right? So it's a balancing act. I know, like in the UK and Europe, they don't really have the same issue on that aspect. They are more a little densely populated, their areas, and we're a little spread out. So like California and New York are heavily densely populated. So on popular voting, they're always going to get their way. And so, like, for me, the reason I don't think a popular vote would be beneficial was in California alone. The city of LA or the suburb of LA County, they needed more water to do the people, right? So they pumped in all the water from the farmlands in for people. Well, the city said yes, the farmer said no. You know who ended up winning? The city, because there was more people. So it's just like where on certain aspects and certain topics, when it comes to, items involving resources and land, is the mob always correct?
I got you.
No. That makes sense.
That's the issue with the popular vote.
Yeah.
So do you really want people in LA and New York deciding what you do with your land and your resources here in Texas?
I think when it comes to something like that, there has to be a compromise. Both sides need to know, what is the pro of this? What is the con of this? Is this going to hurt other populations? Is this going to further hurt the resource to make it unavailable to people in the area that it's being taken from further down the line, even though this is a short-term solution?
So yeah, that's just to bring into what we're experiencing right now with our disputed election, is that the cities more or less voted, we want this person to be president, and the landowners are saying we want this person. And so that's where our system is, that our checks and balances and our workarounds are now. That's where we're at. And how do we decide to move forward? What are we going to agree upon? I still say we just throw out both presidents and just have Pence or president, Kamala vice president, like in the olden days.
I mean, things get done. I mean, imagine, oh my God, I would love to be a fly on the wall with Pence and Camilla, just like his stoic, hardcore Christian, and then you have Camilla Harris, who is like, I'm speaking. I would love to be in a fly on the wall. I would love film
I
it.
can
I would watch
honestly
it.
say though, with their debate, they were a lot more presidential than the presidential debate. Like both of them on the debate stage were better than both of the presidents on the presidential stage.
Hey, can you just shut up, man? I'm just kidding. I had to.
So that's some of the questioning. Like, personally, I'm all for all these lawsuits and all this crap going on. Like, I want them to crack open the books. I want them to investigate. I mean, there's been too many people step forward and sign affidavits. You know what I mean? Like, that's a penalty of going to federal jail if you lie on that. We have scientific data that just like, hey, let's check this out. I know, just Alan, I sent you a link earlier, or you can pull up that one little map picture I sent if that's easier.
All right, dope. There we go. Lo and behold, everyone. Pay attention to them.
I have to go let in the dog. Hang on.
We're on a lag. It's loading. Is it on the screen?
It's on the screen. I would share, but obviously I can't do that.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm just waiting for it to catch up.
There's a link for everyone else. It's pulled
up. Okay. Just if you look at the map, and the map doesn't vary pretty much. I mean, we looked back all the way to, I believe, Clinton. And they were all pretty close to about the same. And so when you look at overall land mass, and this was 2020, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
It's 2020.
So if you look at overall land mass, the map is mainly red, right? And you have the dark blue areas. Those would be, Atlanta, LA, and New York.
San Antonio.
So how do you appease the center of the map and everybody else there, but also appease everybody on the edges? Well, everybody in the red area right now is saying, "Hey, we need to look into this this election needs to be gone over with a fine-tooth comb. Let's crack every book. Let's audit every machine. Let's check every voter roll. Let's just do it all right now while we have the chance. We're in a pandemic, right? Nobody's doing anything. And let's make sure that 2024 flows like Florida did this year. When 2000 happened and Florida had a Supreme Court case to solve their voting issues, on election night, they were 100% recorded in 3 hours. That was it. They were done. Georgia took 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
So this election, we had more electronics, mail-in ballots. We had so many variables in the election that there had to be mistakes. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect, right? And to tell us that everything across the board was better than any election ever before, voter retainage, the amount people voted, the thrown out ballots, everything was the best it's ever been. I can't believe that myself.
What if people actually, stepped up their game and, the people at the polls were really taking care of everything? I mean, the polls that we went to, there was a guy walking around asking to make sure that you.
Yeah, well, that's hard for us to our voting experiences with Texas is one of the strictest and well-oiled machines besides Florida.
Yeah.
Texas alone would not allow Dominion voting machines because they said they were too flawed. There's too many errors in them. So we don't even use those. So everybody else, there was Wisconsin, who had 47 counties use this program. They did found a county where the machine accidentally misplaced 6,000 votes to the wrong side. So if that can happen once, why can't we just double check to make sure it can't happen again?
But haven't they already done that? Not every state, but the states that Trump has sued at, they've done that. They've recounted manually.
No, all they did was rerun the ballots through the machine and check the total again. They didn't do a signature audit. Georgia governor said no to the signature audit. They needed the legislation to come in and say, in an emergency meeting, and say, yes, let's do that. But he denied letting them come in. There's been incidents like that where it's just, you're like, why are you putting up a wall? And I don't think it would set a precedent if we just figured out the system. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we have all this electronics. We have most of our voting systems were designed in the 70s or 60s, what we currently use. It's like we've said about our education system, what is designed in the 50s. And then it's just been piecework together all these years.
I mean,
And they say,
go ahead.
go ahead.
The one thing that I can at least say is, I like the idea of change. I like the idea of trying to make sure that the rest of the states are in line the well-oiled machines like Texas or Florida. But, I mean, not during an election year. Like, yes, keep the statistics from the election
when
year.
else would you know?
That's what I'm trying to get to. Like, yes, keep the statistics, keep all the information that everyone has put back, and try to renovate the election process, but not at the very end of the election year where one guy is just trying to grasp at straws for power. Like, that's not the way to do it. If Trump is trying to push and say,
if you look at the way the system works, though, it's not one person grasping for power. It's just they're just fighting to the end, and some people want their leader to fight to the end. That's some people's belief.
And I get that.
And also, if he's fighting for it, then that's going to make people look into the systems. It's going to make them audit them and make everybody do their due diligence to make sure that these are the true results. And that's all we want, is for the true results to come out. We want to make sure that there's not going to be room for people to be like, well, it was the systems that messed up here. Nope, sorry, we've ironed out our systems. You can't pull that anymore. But the only way we're going to get to that point is if he fights and challenges it.
Now, see, if he had come,
I agree and disagree on some fronts, but ultimately, I think I've said it before on this podcast. If an investigation or whatever needs to be done, do it. Trump is just going to be that much more embarrassed when the results come out if it turns out that it's the way that it's projected now. But personally,
I think Joe Biden should be leading the charge.
Well, I mean, yeah, could. Things are set up now where I have to trust into a system that was built for us, right? Why don't we just accept the results for what they are? Trump has said it from the very beginning that he's not going out without a fight, which is fine. If there's issues, if there's voter fraud, air it out, because those need to be addressed. It could go on either side. If it's in favor of your Democratic candidate or your Republican candidate, it needs to be sussed out. Personally, I think Trump's lawsuits are a waste of time, a waste of the court's time and money. But that's my personal opinion.
So the biggest misconception is that Trump's filed a bunch of lawsuits. He's actually only on number 5 that his campaign has filed. All the other 42, I think it's 42 or 43, have all been filed by either GOP or state representatives, or somebody down in the Republican Party that didn't like the results.
And the 5th one was the one that he took over from Texas, right?
Yeah, the one he refiled from the Texas lawsuit. So the Supreme Court said that we can't hear this case because Texas wasn't harmed in that case, right? Like, you're not the true plaintiff. So what they're thinking is, if Trump files it as he was the injured party, that they might hear the case. And if they hear the case, they have a whole lot of data. Uh, I mean, they've had call centers calling people like, "Hey, we show that this registration shows you voted twice. Did you vote in this state or this state?" You know? And so they've been having people do that kind. I know there's one big YouTuber, Steven Crowder. He's actually Thursday going to live stream going from like locations that were marked on people's registration. That's actually uh like a lot, like a PO box or something, like illegal,
That's
what you shouldn't
interesting.
have. And he's gonna live stream going from those to those in Nevada, just to
Wow.
show, yes, there is some evidence that can be looked at. There's not if you look at that map we had up there, you don't need widespread. You don't need to have voter fraud in every area. We're talking Georgia, LA, and New York. If you just boost it up, or just that little city, you boost your numbers up in these few counties around that city, no one will really notice. I mean, unless you were tearing open every single ledger.
That makes sense.
So my question is these call centers that are calling people, it's just a verbal yes or no, right? So
Yeah, they're
you need an
private.
ID to go vote.
Yeah. Well,
Whether
no.
it's a private, it's just like research
In
purposes.
Texas, you need a ID, but in some states, there's no ID laws. There's nothing like that. So all you have to do is pretty much write, "I live at this address. This is my name. I vote."
Okay.
Wow.
But the call center part, like that's just for research purposes, right? Like that's
Yeah,
not an
it's a
official
private.
government.
Yeah, no, it's a
Okay.
private charity that's doing to it's kind of like the voter integrity kind of thing. I want to say
Gotcha.
they're voter integrity something, but yeah, no, they're pulling out state registrations that you can get with Information Act and all this, and you don't have to answer, but they are getting a lot of people answering, and a lot of people are saying that, "No, I didn't register to mail. I voted in person," or things like that.
So JW has a couple of good questions that end just in chat. JW asked, "How does the registration system work over there, and are automatically enrolled when you reach voting age?" And Shay?
Somewhat. They
Um,
send you a voter registration card, and then you just take
well,
that
also when
card
you get your
and
license,
yeah,
Yeah.
They'll ask
yeah.
you
Well, that's
at
what.
the
when you get your
DMV.
license, you can.
That's what's really weird to the registration process for me, is because it changes when your address changes. It changes if you move because you're in a different county or a different voting area. But I mean, people who are going door to door with the campaigns, they can be like, "Oh, we can register you to vote." Or you can do it when you get your license, or you can do it the day that you go and vote to register. And that's what's really weird to me a lot of times is I've, registered to vote with my new area, and yet I'm constantly getting calls and constantly getting things in the mail. "Oh, well, have you registered? You can register now. This is how we'll register you." And it's like, shouldn't there be a system that shows that I'm already registered? Why are you still hassling me about it? Does that make sense?
So one of the major issues with so that's the thing. So every state, in almost every county, they have more or less control of how they vote. So nobody communicates, or really, there's no tied in voter registration system. Really, it's kind of a hodgepodge of information from this government agency, this database, and this database kind of thing.
And every other state kind of has its own different registration system. Like here in Texas, you have to mail in your registration. In other states, like I think Colorado, California, and some others, you can do it online.
See, I never had to do that. They just sent me the card, and I took the card in with me when I went to vote, and they registered me right there before I voted.
Well, you haven't moved in a while.
No, that
I
that
mean,
was my first time, and then ever since then, it's just like
ah,
I just
okay.
go in, they scan my ID, and I vote. I walk out. See, that's some of the things. It's like there's a lot of people that are anti-voter ID laws, but I think like that should be the way you register. It's like you walk in, you swipe your government ID that you're issued, and you vote. What is the issue with that?
I don't know.
I don't personally. I don't see an issue with that.
Now, I know there is some people say disenfranchises people from voting, but if you know, if you're paying your taxes and you're all good, you have your ID. You know, if
Yeah.
you don't have an ID, if somebody can't have an ID, do you really want them voting? You know?
I know we talked about Game of the Year earlier. I think Cyberpunk is going to win any Game of the Year awards.
Hell no.
I think
Changing the
so.
topic.
I think so. I think it's like a really, I don't know, gray area because
Not with all its
name a
glitches.
game. Well, no, but I'm saying name a game, a big game that's come out in the last few years that doesn't have glitches in it.
That doesn't.
Among Us.
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild had no glitches.
Oh.
If I do a Google search on
It
launch,
was-
it had no glitches.
Not
I don't
as
think
many.
it did. Nintendo delayed Breath of the Wild. I know because every year I waited and then nothing. For like 4 years. Like they went a long ass time and I found the game flawless personally.
Granted, there are minor glitches in the game, but we're discounting minor glitches because the glitches that Cyberpunk 2077 is having are not minor glitches at all. These are massive fucking glitches.
So
Where-
the only thing I could say about Zelda, just real quick before we go off, that
Sure.
if you do think about it, Zelda is designed to run on a Nintendo system. It doesn't run on anything else. Cyberpunk had
That's
to be
true.
developed to run on the latest PCs all the way to the latest next gen consoles. So if you add that,
And
there is
still
room for
have
more.
Yeah, so their developers had quite a challenge.
Yeah.
But hasn't this game also been in development for like
8
8
years.
years?
8
at
years.
Yeah.
this point?
Yeah.
So I mean, we expect glitches, but
But
the
for eight-
level that they were executing, especially after having a 3-month pushback release.
Now the
So,
glitches
They're
are
saying I haven't seen, but they're saying on PC that there's been no glitches. That or not well that though on PC there's been minimal.
so for PC. There have been minimal glitches because the game was designed for PC. As for the consoles, it's causing overheating. It's causing the game to crash. I think I heard something about corrupted save data. I'm not entirely sure on that one.
Yeah, on PS5, right?
Yeah, on the PS5.
I think they were having it was the same issue that they were talking about Miles Morales game was having.
JW is also saying they also only sent out test versions to people. That was another thing there.
Wow. But it's like, and everyone was saying, well, they should have delayed it. They should have delayed it. It's like, okay, where do you draw the line? I mean, people were getting pretty much, I think the sentiment towards the game was we were never going to get it. And people were starting to lose hope in it. So they were like, hey, let's just launch the game and then we can patch it together. You know, once we know when people are using it and able to give us feedback, we know where the glitches are and what to fix.
And
mean-
that's when they should have sent out beta versions to different console players.
I think it's just sad that all our games are at that point now. Like, they have to have people playing it to figure out where the issues are.
Well, they've been like
You
that
never
for a
know till you
while.
try.
They've been like that for a while. I mean, I remember a friend of mine's brother back in high school was a beta or alpha tester for Halo, and he would like spend time playing the game, figuring out where the glitches were, and send something off to Microsoft. Not Microsoft. Shoot, who were the Bungie? Like, I remember hearing stories about people who played Halo. So it's not the first time that there have been playtesters. Just wish that they like didn't bend to their followers and say, all right, fine, here's the game full of glitches. and take the risk. I mean, people are getting their money back as it is right now.
Well, I did read that Sony stopped all returns on it currently.
Beards? Why did they say it was horrible? I need to replay the same sequence over and over again.
But like, like I played No Man's Sky you've played it from when it launched in 2018 till now. Right. It's a world of difference. And I guess that only came from people playing. The same with Star Wars Battlefront 2. When it launched, it was garbage.
It's still sort of garbage. You still have to pay for skins. And I mean, I'm not on board with that. What were we gonna say, NJ?
Catan Universe, which we started off playing on mobile right when the pandemic hit, because we wanted to play Catan together. And you remember how horrible it was at first, guys? And look at it now. It had a glow up.
Speaking of which,
I know it did.
No?
Yeah. Wait, did they fix the AI?
Sort of.
Or the
No.
AI still super
probably
cheaters?
no. No, they didn't.
Speaking about broken AI,
they're challenging. Okay, we'll say that.
Speaking about broken AIs, even the AI for Cyberpunk 20. Like you can't really do anything with the people on the street. Like they portrayed it to be this like massive game where you role play and do all this other stuff. You really can't. It's just a point and shooter kind of.
I can say the Cyberpunk 2077, or as in our page says, Cyberpunk 2070Y, is pretty. Sorry, it made me laugh. I lost track of my thought, but
it stands for year.
Yeah. So, but like the memes have been fire. I think by this time next year, Cyberpunk 2077 is going to blow every other game away. I think it has the potential to meet that like Grand Theft Auto 5, legacy, how long it lasted.
Mhm.
I see Cyberpunk 2077 having that potential at least.
Kind of like The Witcher 3.
Do you guys-
and go ahead.
Do you guys think that this launch still went better than Diablo's launch?
The Diablo mobile game.
Diablo Immortal.
You guys all have phones, right?
Oh my god. I don't.
That was this. Okay, as a Diablo player, I can say that was the stupidest move they could have had. Like, they don't need to put out Diablo 4 yet. Like, it can wait until next gen is up and firing 100%. But at the same time, they really need to do a mass like upgrade or refreshing of Diablo 3. Like, add a whole couple new armor sets. Switch around some stats, switch around some armor pieces. On this week's Soapbox.
At least let us forget about the Diablo mobile. That's all I'm asking.
I never even downloaded it. Hey, we lost Kaylin.
I don't think it's available. She did say that she needed to research.
Yeah, I froze.
The shade is real. I mean, I couldn't believe that response, CJ. Really, like, as somebody who only like really played Nintendo at the time, I was like, how dare you? Like, I will never play that game now.
How dare you?
Well, like for me, when they censored Blitzchung, that's when I didn't play any more Blizzard games.
Yep. I lost all desire for it.
Guys, you guys ready to wrap it up?
Time already? God, that went by fast.
Yeah.
I know. We had
We can
such a
always
good
kick it
talk.
out. Hey, I guess CJ, W, Beards, y'all got anything y'all want to talk to us about?
Yeah.
Well, you do that. Let's talk about next week. So next week is going to be a special Naked Pod Extraordinaire Palooza. Puzzle, do you want to tell us?
You got this,
Is she
NJ. I
there?
believe in
Okay.
you.
So next Monday on the Naked Pod, we are all going to be wearing our favorite Christmas shirt or sweater, And we're going to be wearing just general Christmas attire and have a little Christmas party. All right, Beard.
We didn't really talk about it too much, but are we open to
Hi,
fan
Beards.
submissions of pictures for the countdown of the show?
I love that.
Yeah.
But
That's a
Extreme
good
can't
idea.
enter because Extreme's going to enter in his model dogs. So he can't enter them.
He wins.
It's okay. It's okay, Extreme. Look, they can't hear me right now. Just enter. Go for it. Oh, wait.
They're so
oops.
pretty.
Let me try that again. All right. Now that I muted myself.
I thought you said, "Oh my God, boobs," and I was
Sleep
like,
tight,
"Boobs?
Beards.
Why do
Thanks
you
for
got
dropping by.
Night, Beards.
Thank you, OG.
So we're going to be asking for your guys' submissions now, I guess, for your Christmas pictures, and we can broadcast them right on the channel. So we're looking forward to that. Christmas time is a special time of year. It took me a little bit of time to get into the Christmas spirit, but now that we have a tree up, I feel better.
Bah humbug.
It looks great. I'm looking at it now.
Bye, Beards.
I decorated
have
my
anything else?
grandparents' house. I decorated the trees downtown. I'm done.
I mean, that's fair.
Fair.
I got to go tear it all down in 2 and 3 weeks. The day we get back from New Year's, they call us. Hey, we can start.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
just tell
Someone's
them
not looking forward to work.
wait till January 6th.
Yeah. So technically, by electrical codes, you're only allowed to have temporary lights up outside for 65 days or something like that. It's like 60 or 65 days. So technically,
Oh.
Christmas lights are temporary lights. So there is an electric code against having your lights up all year round.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Heads up,
The more
everybody.
you
It's a
know.
national code, too.
Oh, shit. Does that mean that my LEDs need to come down?
Nah, you're fine, man. It's like, it's only an issue if code compliance comes out and they really want to be a dick. Like, if they want to make your life hell, that's the kind of stuff they have. Well,
All
sweet.
right. What else we got?
I was gonna say
Jerks on
Wednesday.
Wednesdays.
I got
Hey.
2 confirmations. Hopefully I'll be able to get.
If we're not able to get Wednesday going, what are we gonna be playing, Alan?
I figured we would get into a new game. Ethan, would you like to jump into Minecraft?
Yeah, I started downloading it so that I could, so we can play. We
Cute
started a
baby.
server. Official Millennials has a server
Aw.
now, so it
Yeah.
only makes sense that we would.
So it
But-
only
So
makes it
cute.
worse because it's a Feed the Beast server, so it's immensely harder. And there's so much more on top.
So we're just like wondering how long before Alan bans me on the server for creeping on people.
It's okay. You can live on my base. Totally fine. Don't
'Cause
burn
it's
it.
not
I'm
a
being
wood.
nomad.
Huh?
I'm gonna be a nomad. I'm done with
You-
bases.
Maybe
I had
a
a-
even.
I had 5 bases on an Arc map for a year by myself. I'm done with bases.
JW says, reckon if you do drinking streams, you can put alcohol down as a business. I'm gonna go check that out.
Ooh.
It's smart.
Well, that's another thing that I still got to get going. Our community bar night where we'll have to sit down. I don't know if everybody wants to chat or they want to play a little game or maybe watch a movie. I don't know.
I'm pretty certain that we
Sounds
won't be able
great.
to stream that. But
Well,
I'm
that's why
totally
it's
down.
or we can play Burial Kart on the Switch with everybody.
Wait. But how are we
That'd
gonna
be
know if they're
fun.
drinking their beer or not? Are we gonna put them on mass cam? Like everyone has to show their
Hell
face?
yeah.
Okay. I'm down
Honor
for that.
system.
So
The
what
honor
we'll do is
system?
no, every single person doing it will stream to their own channel, and everybody has to open a tab for everybody. We're gonna get mass viewers for everybody that night.
But yeah. I'll set up the multi so that we can have like 12 people on the one page. And
That'd be cool.
if I see someone not drink or drink and keep driving, I'll call it out.
Because he's
CJ.
a rules lawyer.
Yeah. I'm a bad
CJ,
rules lawyer.
you can't drink and drive. That's the only rule. Or
Yeah.
there's 2 rules. You can't drink and drive, and you have to finish your beer by the end of the round.
Mhm.
I guess since we can't drink excessively, would we have to do it like each race?
Each
Not-
race. Each race.
Or no,
So
I
you
mean not
drink
each circuit.
race.
You'd have to
Yeah.
finish your beer each circuit.
Mhm.
I would
If-
say so.
If you want, we can make it like a 16 race. So every 4 races, you have to finish your beer. But you have to
Oh,
drink
I was thinking
every
more like
race.
a 3-race circuit, and you finish drink each circuit,
Okay, you can do that.
so that nobody gets alcohol poisoning on cam.
That's fair. We don't want people getting alcohol poisoning. We'll figure
Hopefully
it out.
now, guys.
I don't think puzzles are gonna come back, everybody.
No.
Yeah, what do you got, JW?
What you got,
We're just
JW?
chilling.
I'm playing with a camera. I'm starting my OnlyFans, Ethan. See, it's ready.
So,
Oh my
did you see
God.
that OnlyFans was trying to rebrand a little bit and say, "Hey, we're just like Subscribe Star and Patreon.
But
We
do you
just
know why?
allow explicit content."
Do you know why? It's because of it's because of Pornhub and their allegations of like sharing child pornography. Pornhub literally scrubbed all of their videos. They went from like 30 something million down to 2 million. Only reason I know this because Philip DeFranco talked about it.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, I heard something about that. Like, they got rid of a lot of the amateur stuff. Like, it's only like professionals or whatever.
You have to be verified, and in order to verify, you have to have a Pornhub account. You have to change your profile picture and one other thing. Like, Phil went into detail, and I was like, okay, things I don't need to know that I'm probably gonna forget in like 2 hours.
So,
And you
JW,
didn't.
first
forgot one of them.
problem, our first mistake you made was thinking IKEA would make anything easy on you.
Have you
Second
seen your
mistake.
instructions?
Yeah, you gotta put together the desk. You gotta put together your tracking information, bud. Like,
I can say, JW, that there's literally an IKEA like 2 minutes from my house. I could walk there if I really wanted.
You really could. I've been there. Well, both places, to his house and to the IKEA, and they're like that close.
So I just go up there and pull what I want off the shelf and then take it home myself. So I don't really know I don't have any experiences to go off of
Hey, JW,
about dealing with their drivers.
I know why you don't have a desk yet. Crazy over here pulled it off the shelf and glued it himself.
Yeah. I built it and everything, and then I smashed it.
Yeah, he
Smash
straight
it
up
with a
wants
hammer?
to build my new desk.
She won't let me. She's like, I told her, draw it out and I will build it for you, whatever you want. Wood,
I
metal,
hope you get your
whatever.
desk soon, though, JW.
yeah.
JW, if you're willing to pay shipping and freight, send me a drawing and I will make it and ship it to you.
You know what? I think that you should at IKEA on Twitter and see what they say. I'm pretty certain they'll get their shit turned around.
He has. No,
has?
he has. Like, he's posted the saga on JW's Twitter. If you're not following, follow. It's like a series.
Why try 3 times then? I think at this point you may just
Hey
have to go
guys,
to the
well,
store.
he said that they said straight to the store, and then they keep sending him in the loop. On that note, JW, I hope you get your desk, and we're gonna have to conclude here today, guys. We will see you
Yay.
next Monday for our Christmas special.
Christmas
Palooza.
special.
Whoop,
Who
whoop.
should we raid?
I don't know.
Yeah, y'all get.
Oh, is Bo still streaming?
Bo streaming, Broccoli streaming, Wizard of Time streaming, Saved by the Bell streaming.
Oh, Ethan's ready.
That's all. Those are all that I have.
Oh, so
at the moment.
I have somebody playing. His name's Cage Matic, and he's playing Outward. And Madly is streaming. CJ recommended
Snicker
these
Bass is
streamers called A
streaming.
Couple of Pirates. Snicker Bass is streaming? Let's rate Snicker Bass.
Snicker Bass is streaming?
Tight, everybody.
Gamer Yuki streaming.
Oh, so
Yeah.
don't want to rate Snicker Bass? Okay.
No, I'm cool with whoever. Snicker Bass is fine. We can all go talk crap to him in a stream, call him Snicker Lass and Snicker Ass and Snicker Jazz.
He's all listening to this and just closes the tab.
Like, God, these guys are...
I don't need their raid.
Alright.
A Lost Fables is playing Super Mario Galaxy 2.
I like Super Mario.
Alright, I'm ready. I'm ready to raid Snicker. I got my emotes ready.
Alright, guys. Thank you.
Everybody join the hype train. This will be like the most viewers we ever had.
You wanna lead us out, NJ?
I already did. Let's just go.
Alright.
It just boo doo boo boo. Official millennials.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
This is an official Millennials production.